Republicans are unifying right now behind our president. Even harsh Trump critic Mitt Romney, what do you know, is seemingly on board praising our commander-in-chief for his, quote, strong start. Watch.
I think what people recognize is he's doing what he said he'd do. And I'm sure that's very encouraging to a lot of people. I think all of us, whether we were for him or for someone else, have high hopes for our new president.
Well, maybe not everybody, right? The Democrats, they continue to freak out at every little thing our president does right now.
We're about to repeal Obamacare without one Democratic vote. And what we have after the repeal is Trump Care.
If they have a good idea, we'd like to hear what it is, and we'd like to work together. But right now, we are fighting the repeal of the Affordable Care Act.
I want him to investigate all the people who don't get the chance to vote, who are being denied the right to vote.
No fear, no ban, no wall. No fear, no ban, no wall.
Donald Trump has essentially stepped into office and shredded the Constitution.
Was mean-spirited and un-American.
It is a Muslim ban. He said it was a Muslim ban. He called it a Muslim ban.
It's a stunning thing that a white supremacist, Bannon, would be a permanent member of National Security Council.
Wow. All right, but everything you heard there on the negative side, even if you were to say, okay, I'm going to fight everything, hair on fire, outrage, cry wolf at every single turn, the question is, at what point is it the law of diminishing returns? In other words, could it actually create a national feeling of outrage fatigue? Here's what an op-ed in the ultra-liberal Washington Post said. Chill, America. Not every Trump outrage is outrageous. The Democrats are running the risk here of becoming the party of Chicken Littles. Joining me right now, Fox News contributor Leslie Marshall and Ned Ryan, the CEO of American Majority. Good to see both you guys. I get it.
Thanks.
It's political, Ned. But this hysteria, I got to tell you, it's only been a couple weeks, but it's getting kind of old. At what point does the left just become a bunch of background noise?
Well, that's the thing. I think the Democrats and the media are overplaying their hands with this manufactured outrage and shock. I mean, here's the deal. People want to see Trump lead his new coalition. They want to see him be able to govern. And all the Democrats are offering right now is rage, not solutions. I mean, but again, it goes down this idea that I've been thinking about since the elections. They're quickly becoming a coastal regional party led by people like Nancy Pelosi, like Chuck Schumer, who are truly outside the mainstream. And so when you look at what they're doing and sometimes even leading some of these protests, Trish, the American people want jobs, they want paychecks, they want solutions, and you have Democrat leaders leading protests. Yeah. And so you look at this, you look at what's taking place in the streets of Berkeley, you look at what took place in the streets of D.C., burning of cars, smashing of Starbucks, and I think to myself, with the Democrat leadership, with this protesting in the streets, I wonder what the second Trump term is going to look like.
Well, they do seem to be somewhat divorced from the hardships that are happening in everyday America right now, Leslie. And when you look at Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, they really embody that sort of let them eat cake kind of mentality that I think got the Democrats in trouble in the first place. So at what point do Democrats say, okay, enough? We need to become the party of action. We need to become the party of solutions as opposed to protests.
Well, first of all, I think Democrats should take a page from the Tea Party, quite frankly. The Tea Party started with protest. They got their numbers. They mobilized, and they flipped some seats, and they did not take over the Republican Party, but some would say they held it hostage, arguably, for a period of time, and got their party, they felt, back on track from where they felt it had been. You know what? Size matters if people show up to vote. We saw that with the election of our president, and I think we can see that in 2 years.
All right. I'm going to take your word at this, and I hear you. But I don't know, is Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are the answer there? Now, if you had told me, Bernie Sanders was going to get everybody worked up, I think you saw a bit of a movement there. And that's what you need, a movement that translates into something. But right now, Leslie, this just feels like it's just a whole bunch of noise.
Well, I don't agree it's a whole bunch of noise, because although we can get outrage fatigue, these are specific issues they're outraged about, whether it's a wall, whether it's a travel ban, which many on the left, myself, call a Muslim ban, or whether it's regarding the Affordable Care Act and women's rights. They're not out there about Dodd-Frank. Even the Affordable Care Act, and they're very concerned about where's the replacement, and certainly affected middle and lower income families. I don't see Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, ringing the bell and sounding the bugle.
I don't know. It kind of feels like every day, every minute, they're upset about something. They're also, by the way, I should point out real quick, guys, Democrats are so upset about Education Secretary Betsy DeVos getting a confirmed vote here that they are filibustering their Senate floor. They're for a full 24 hours. You're looking at none other than Elizabeth Warren speaking right now there on the floor, and she's doing this, of course, all to protest the president's pick. Kind of interesting. They're digging in their heels here about Betsy DeVos.
Well, they have to.
Of all people, they're the one that she is targeting. Ned, you say they have to. Why?
Well, they have to, because the teacher unions are some of their biggest political supporters, not only in regards to money, but ground game as well. So, of course, they have to fight this fight. And they're also going to fight the fight with Scott Pruitt at EPA, because, again, that's another hot button issue for the left. But I want to go back to a couple things. First of all, the utter hypocrisy of the Democrats when they say, well, we're going to repeal Obamacare without a Democrat vote. Let's go back. How many Republicans voted for it again? Oh, that's right. 0. But I will say this, Leslie's right in regards to the Tea Party, although I will highlight the differences. When you had a Tea Party protest, they weren't destroying property and beating up people. Yeah. But I will say this, what the Tea Party learned to do is say protests are great, but they fundamentally change nothing. We're going to go win political elections.
They did that, and they were successful at doing that. And that's a good point about the lack of destruction in their protests versus what we just saw in Berkeley.
And cleaning up after themselves.
Leslie and Ned, good to see you guys. Thank you so much.
Trish.